lot of requests to do more ACL videos. So today I'm doing a really quick flow. It's not really a flow, but for people who are about 2 months post-op ACL reconstruction surgery. And this is going to be mostly standing and seated poses. It's not going to be really a flow like a normal yoga class because it's not really going to be so much as a workout as it is just a way to start rehabilitating the body a little bit, increase flexibility, and regain a little bit of balance. But first and foremost, before you do this yoga video or any fitness activity, highly recommend talking to your doctor first and just getting clearance from them. And also, at the same time, if you do decide to do this video and follow along, just really gauge how your body is feeling, how your knee is feeling. If you don't feel comfortable doing a pose, just skip it. When I had my knee surgery, I went to Bikram about a month and a half, 2 months after my surgery, and I did it as a way to just warm the body up and get the blood flowing through my body a little bit, stay flexible as much as possible, and start to gain strength. There were a lot of poses that I couldn't do, so a lot of just standing or sitting, depending on what pose we're doing for balance or flexibility, or even just bending the knee too much. So a lot of that is going to be dependent on how you're feeling and where you're at in your recovery. Everyone is different, so just listen to your body and see what feels best for you. And if something feels wrong or weird, just back off and don't do the pose. So with that being said, let's get started. Standing up, before we get started actually, you can grab a towel, like a rolled up towel, as an accessory for this flow, and then a block or even a small pillow would work if you don't have a block. It's basically just going to be here for support if you need it. And also a chair, so we're going to do a couple of balancing exercises. So if you don't feel comfortable putting a lot of weight on the leg, or you need a little bit of extra support and you don't want to fall over anything, you can also grab a chair as well. So to start off, we're just going to stretch the side of the body. So just inhale and lift your arms up to the sky. Your feet can be together or they can be slightly apart, whatever is more comfortable for you. So lift your arms up to the sky. Right hand grabs the left wrist. Pull that left wrist up and over to the right as you start to bend over to the right. So the key here is just to feel a nice stretch along the left side of the body. And you want to think about looking more up towards the sky, up towards your armpit. So rotating these left ribs more up towards the sky versus leaning in too much. And come back to center and switch sides. Left hand grabs that right wrist, pull up and over to the left this time. And just turn your gaze up to the sky. It's okay if you don't have a lot of flexibility here. We're just working on opening up the side of the body. I'm sure you've been on crutches the last month or so, or the first few weeks of your surgery. So we're just really working on opening up the side of the body and just feeling that openness. Good. And relax the arms. Shake them out a little bit. So the next thing we're going to do is a modified chair pose. You can use a chair here if needed. This is just going to help build up some of the strength in the quads and the calves. So do what you can. If it feels like it's a bit much, just back off and just stay in regular chair pose. So begin to bend the knees as you drop your hips back. So you want more of your shin bones to come back. So you want to be able to look over your knees and see the tops of your toes and kind of wiggle your toes a little bit and be able to see them. And bring your hands to your heart center and really lengthen through your spine. Some of you are strong for your spine to be in one straight line. And sink a little bit lower and just continue to breathe through this. You might feel a little bit of burn in the glutes or the quads. sink the hips a little bit lower. Good. And then begin to shift a little bit of the weight into the left foot as you slowly raise that right heel up and bring it down. And then lift that left heel up and then down. You can try both of the heels here and think about squeezing the inner thighs together. If this is too much, grab a chair or just stay in regular chair pose. Okay. And then slowly release down and stand back up. Shake the legs out a little bit. Alright, so the next thing, or the next pose, we're going to do is tree pose. So, shift the weight into the left foot and lift the right leg up. So you're balancing on one leg. And just have a slight bend on that standing leg. And this is another pose that you can grab a chair for support as well if you need. So turn the right knee out to the side. Bottom of the foot comes to the inside of the shin. Good. And stand up as straight as you can, hands to your heart center. If this is good for you, you can stay here. If you want a little bit more of a challenge, you can bring it up. This might be a bit much for where you're at in your progress, but like I said, everyone is different. So just do what is comfortable and what feels okay for you. Because you don't want to overdo it early on in your recovery. But like I said, this is just, these poses are mainly just to start to bring some more body awareness and strength to the surrounding muscles of your leg. And slowly release that right leg down. And we're going to shift sides, so shift the weight to the right foot, lift that left knee up, and turn the left knee out, coming into tree pose. So, this is what it looks like from the front. Again, if you need a chair or something to hold on to, just don't lock out that standing leg. So you don't want to put pressure in that joint. It's always good to slightly bend the knee. And that really helps protect the joint. And again, you can bring the foot up higher if that's comfortable for you. But really just recommend staying in this lower tree pose. And then release down. Next, we're going to slowly lift the right knee up. And then take your hands to wrap in front of the knee. Again, just a slight bend in that standing leg. And then just slightly squeeze that glute of the standing leg. You start to really activate your glute muscles to help you with your balance. And bring your leg out to the side. You can place your hand on your hip or on a chair that's next to you to help you with your balance. You're probably fine on your good leg. So for your knee that you had surgery on, you might want to use a chair, and that's fine. Like I said, this is just, it's pretty close to when you've had surgery, so you don't want to overdo it. Bring the knee back to center and bring down. Shake that leg out a little bit. Shift the weight into the right leg. Pull that left knee up. Bring the hands to the front of the knee. Slightly squeeze that right glute, slight bend in that right knee. And just stand as straight up as possible as you can. Really engaging your core. Good. And then bring the knee out to the side. Right hand goes on your hip. Come to face you. To breathe. If this hurts or bothers your knee, you can kind of just let it hang out here without putting any pressure in it. So whatever's comfortable for you. I think for me during my surgery, it was just a light hold. You can kind of see I still have a little scar here on my knee. So it's kind of close for where the surgeon cut in. So just putting your hand in a place that doesn't bother you. And then come back to center and release down. And and shake your other leg out. And bring your feet about hip distance apart. Bend the knees as you start to hinge the hips forward and bring the chest forward until you have a flat back. Release the hands down, release the head down, coming into a forward fold. And you can hang out here for as long as you want, if it just feels good. You kind of start to straighten the leg out a little bit. You can also take a block and use it for support here as well. And again, you can kind of just walk the feet out a little bit or push the hips from side to side. And release down. And inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold forward. And start to walk your hands up towards the front of the mat. And start to walk your feet back into plank or anywhere that's easy for you to get there. So, for whichever knee is recovering, if you just want to hover here and stay in plank, or drop the knee down, come into modified plank, either one will work. So we're just working on the core a little bit here. So there's no need to put the foot down or put the knee down on the recovering leg. So just a couple breaths here. And then start to sit back a little bit. We're just going to swing the leg forward. So I had surgery on my left knee, and it took some time for me to be able to even put pressure on the knee, like to come to my knees like this. So just be very gentle with yourself. Everyone's going to have a different range of motion in different parts of the recovery. So just being really diligent with your physical therapy exercises is going to help increase that range of motion. So I know people have had complete full range of motion pretty quickly. I feel like I was kind of average. And even today, I still have more stiffness in the left knee as far as flexibility. And a lot of that is related just to quad flexibility, and that's definitely something that I can work on more, or that you can work on more as you progress in your recovery. So, we just did a standing forward fold, and we're going to do a seated forward fold now. So we just really want to work on opening up these hamstrings. So for my surgery, part of my hamstring was taken and paired up with part cadaver to replace my ACL. So this left hamstring is always a little bit more weak. I kind of baby it a little bit more, and it's a little bit less flexible than the right leg. So for me, when I do forward folds, I'm always a little bit more conscious of that, just because I have that imbalance in my hamstrings. So bend your knees here. You don't have to have fully straightened out legs. And lift your spine up towards the sky. Bring your stomach to the tops of your thighs and then fold forward. You feel a stretch in the lower back here. That's great. You can stay here if that feels good. You can wrap your hands around the bottom of your feet. Start to scooch the heels forward as far as you can. Just try to keep that stomach glued to the tops of your thighs here. If this feels really uncomfortable for your knee, you can take this towel that you have, place under the knee. And if you want, you can just kind of hang here until you feel a stretch in the backs of your legs. So just take a couple deep breaths here. Just try to go a little bit deeper in each breath. But again, don't push it too much, just a light stretch. And come all the way back up. Next up is Janu Shirshasana. And you're going to come from a seated forward fold, bend your left knee, and drop it out to the side. If you feel like there's some flexibility that's lacking here, take a block. You can put it up high or low, just to give your knee some support if you don't have that rotation or that mobility in your hip. never ever want to move from the knee because your knee is a hinge. It just goes forwards and backwards. It doesn't twist. It's not a ball and socket joint like your hip. So any kind of twisting or a turning motion should always come from the hip. And if you have trouble with that, then work on opening up the hips. So here we are in Janu Sirsasana. You can kind of move the block back and push that right leg forward and open up a little bit wider, almost like you're going to go into a wide leg forward fold. So you can stay here and slowly begin to move the right hand to the right foot. You feel a nice stretch in the side of your body. Maybe you feel in your hamstrings. And if you want something a little extra, you can lift that arm up to the sky and extend over the head. And just switch legs. Maybe this leg, you don't need the block because it's a good leg. I like how people who have ACL surgery always refer to their legs as the good leg or the good knee or the bad knee. I still refer it to like that, even though my reconstructed knee is actually stronger than my other knee. But, so you can have the block here again, or you can remove it. It's just personal preference based on your body and where you're at. So flex the toes of your left foot. Start to bring the left hand as close to the left foot as you can, even if you reach the shins, it's totally fine. And you can reach the arm up and over for added flexibility and stretch in the side of the body. And slowly release. So every pose that I'm doing, I'm holding for anywhere from 3 to 5 breaths. It doesn't have to be anything super intense. Like I said, just focus on really light stretching. You don't want to overexert yourself or pull anything or strain anything, especially just a month and a half, 2 months after your surgery. So the last pose that we're going to do is Marichasana A. It might be a little, I don't say advanced, just a little bit more awkward to get into just with the knee. So if you can't fully bend the knee all the way, that's totally fine. Bend it as much as you can. So if this was my injured leg. So if I could only bend it this much, I would just scooch the foot out a little bit so it's a couple inches outside of my left hip. And keep this right leg straight and sit up as straight as I possibly can. And I'm just going to lean forward, bring the left arm inside of that left leg. So you can stay here, or you can reach the right hand to the right foot and just fold forward. And then the full expression of this pose is to wrap this left arm around the leg. So most people would not have this much mobility, but like I said, this is a beginner recovery series, so you don't want to outdo it or try to push yourself in any way. It's just not safe. So be okay with where you're at in the stretch. I know it was a very humbling experience for myself, and just going really slow was really difficult, but it's not good to push yourself because you could end up re-injuring yourself, and nobody wants to go through an ACL surgery more than once. It's not fun. So let's try to go into this. Stretch as much as possible and take a couple deep breaths. And slowly come up. Release the leg. And again, if you don't have that full range of motion where the back of the knee touches the mat, this is where you can take a towel here, or if you even need to double it up, it's totally fine. Just give yourself a little bit of soft cushion here if you need it. And again, the other side is going to be more flexible if your right knee is the one that's not injured. So take that right leg a little bit to the outside of that right hip. Left leg is straight. Fold forward. You can stay here and extend the arms forward, or you can try to wrap this arm, the right arm, around that right leg. And you can also reach that left hand to grab the right hand or the wrist. and just begin to compress the body forward. Taking a couple deep breaths here. Keep that right hip on the floor as much as you can. And then slowly release. And so that is all that I have for you guys today. It's a 15-20 minute video with some stretches. Each pose is held for 3 to 5 deep breaths. So if you want to do this for the next few weeks during your recovery, it's just a really good introduction of yoga poses that you can do and even modify. I tried to give you guys as many modifications as possible in these poses, so do what feels best for you. And if you're a little bit more farther down the road in your ACL recovery, I have other ACL recovery videos for 4 months out and 6 or 7 months out, and I'm creating a couple more. So the more you go in your progress, I will have more yoga videos for you guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.